Tigers. Birchie Kid did a story on our website about Robbie Grossman. First of all, what do you think of Robbie Grossman? What do you make of Robbie Grossman, the Detroit Tiger?
I think that I like Robbie Grossman. I think he's a professional. I like how he goes about it. I think he plays a little bit of above average outfield. I think that his asset is just being able to work the count and get on base. He's got pop in a bat. He's got 20 homers, so there's that. I like Robbie Grossman. I think he's a professional hitter, and I think he's perfect for what the Tigers are going through right now. But I don't see much purpose in having him here long term because I think the Tigers just have, we've talked about it a million times, I think they have so many prospects that can play the outfield that it wouldn't make sense having him beyond, next year. It may not make sense to have him beyond next August. It could be a trade deadline acquisition for somebody else. But the Tigers it seems to me like I've got too many players that need to see the outfield on a regular basis.
Well, so there's two Robbie Grossman things I want to take out of this. One's just a cool story. Apparently, Akil Baddoo was big on the bow and arrow thing. You get the double and you stand on second, you shoot the bow and arrow, and the dugout reacts and all that. And a lot of the young guys do it. Akil Baddoo isn't the first one to do it, let's be clear, but he was the first one to bring it to the Tigers. He was the first Tiger to start doing it, and a lot of the young guys started to do it, and Robbie Grossman wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He's like, nope, not me. Nope, that's not my style. Nope, not going to do it. But the young kids convinced him when he hit his 20th, if he hit his 20th home run, they asked him to do it. And so when he hit his 20th, and I guess they were riding him or whatever, he hits his 20th, he's rounded the bases. They're all up on the edge of the dugout. They all want him to do it. As he gets to third, he pulls the bow out of the quiver and does the shot into the dugout, and the place went nuts, which is just a cool story.
Yeah.
Every team, though, even with young guys that is trying to compete, you still need a veteran, right? Like you think about a Kenny Rogers and how much it helped along that young staff back in 2006. Gator, Robbie Grossman says in the story that Birchie wrote, he wants to finish his career here. He's got another year of contract, 2 years, $10 million contract, so he'll play next year for $5 million. And I think it's $5 million. I think it was 5 and 5. But he says he likes it here, loves the direction, believes in the leadership here, and wants to finish his career here. He's 31 years old. This is not a young outfielder, but he plays solid defense. Mm-hmm. A.J. Hinch says he can trust him as much as any player he's ever had. He's at a career high in home runs. He's third in the majors in walks. And, he's changed his approach at the plate. So he's just trying to barrel up the baseball now, and it's giving him results. His career high had been 11 home runs, and now he's at 20. He could hit 25 this year. He's not a long-term guy, but if he's not trying to break the bank, and he's going to ask for some money if he has this kind of year next year, but do you try and lock him up to be that veteran? Should the Tigers grant Robbie Grossman what he wants, and that's a chance to finish his career in Detroit?
Well, there's no way I lock him up ahead of time and think, okay, we're going to give another 3-year deal or another 2-year deal. There's just I don't do that. It can't happen. What he does next year dictates what the Tigers going to do. If he plays well, then that adds to his trade stock, and that's the way I'm looking at it. I like Robbie Grossman, and look, this is a business, and does it make business sense for the Tigers to hang on to him when he could be impeding the progress of some young outfielder? I mean, if it comes down to Robbie Grossman or Riley Green, who do you want to play?
Absolutely Riley Green.
100%. So that's where you're looking at it. And, you look at free agency, if they decide that not this offseason, but the following offseason, let's say that, hey, you know what? Our options are going to be, if they hadn't traded Robbie Grossman, we could re-sign Robbie Grossman, and none of these other outfielders had panned out enough yet, or sign another free agent outfielder. I hope they're looking at signing another free agent outfielder, somebody who's going to make a bigger impact. I love the impact that he's had, but he's not the most impactful outfielder that's going to be on the market.
So I guess the way I look at this is, what does a contending team have in terms of reliable outfielders. Does a contending team have 4 reliable outfielders? Guys that you can just rotate through and not care? And not care who your 3 that you're playing are? And, we keep talking about the outfield of the future, with Akil Baddoo in left, Derek Hill in center, and Riley Green in right. But it's probably, odds are, foolish to count on all 3 of them being the high end of what they can be. Robbie Grossman is a steady producer who you know what you're going to get, and a veteran presence with a ton of young guys that even if you are trying to contend, I guess what I'm saying, I wouldn't break the bank to keep him. Let me be clear on that.
Let's say it's $5 million.
I would have no problem bringing him back for $5 million. I don't think he'd agree to that if he has this kind of a year next year. Okay. But if he would agree to that, would I bring him back? Yes. And I'd bring him back with an understanding that, hey, you're probably going to play, but if Baddoo keeps it up and Derek Hill keeps it up and Riley Green lives up to the billing, you might be the odd man out, but you still will play a role on this team.
Well, I think, look, I'm going to keep an open mind.
Okay.
And see what happens next year.
We're not going to fight about this one.
No, we're not going to fight, but not in September of 2021. No, he's got all next year left on a contract, and lots of things can happen. Now, you and I both love Derek Hill, but we know that he has it's hard for him to stay healthy. If he's healthy, great. If Baddoo stays healthy and continues on the way that he's played this year, great. We both have high hopes for Riley Green, as does everybody else in baseball. He's one of the top 10 prospects in all of baseball, and hey, look, last night in the first game of the doubleheader, he hits a double and a triple and drives in 3 runs in a game where Torkelson hits 2 home runs and drives in 3 runs. Riley Green just continues to chug along here. I think he's going to be fine. But let's say next year, Daz Cameron gets his shot and he's playing well. If they hang on to Victor Reyes and Victor Reyes plays well. I know I always bring his name up, but I'm just throwing other outfielders out there. Willie Castro, they look at him as being this super utility kind of guy, and he's a capable 4th outfielder if you need one, or 4th or 5th outfielder if you need one. Cody Clemens has played a little bit in the outfield as well because they want to see if he can expand his role if he's not going to be a second baseman of the future for this team. They've got all types of these guys, let alone other guys at lower levels of the minors that are going to be matriculating through there. So I'll keep the open mind. I just think my gut is telling me it's going to be awfully hard for me to justify bringing back a veteran like Robbie Grossman at the age of 32 at that time.
I think one of the things
for just a year.
You are the difference between you and me, and if I believed and thought the way you did, I could see it. And I think you are leaving the door open on names that I have dismissed that I don't think are part of this team moving forward, and that's Reyes. I don't think Willie Castro in the outfield is gonna stick.
Yeah, I'm not convinced of it either. Yeah. But I'm just bringing up these names, and there are others as well at the AA level and others at the AAA level and then there's the big, door number 3 is the free agent possibility that you could find somebody that does this make sense to bring in a $15 million a year player who's going to enter his 28th year of life, and now you're going to get him in his prime when the Tigers hopefully are ready to start contending.